If you've made many cabinets, you've likely done some edge banding. If you haven't, you probably will eventually. Sometimes the project only calls for a few pieces, but many times if you're doing any edge banding, you're doing a lot of it. Maybe for the edges of frameless cabinets or for plywood shelving or even a tabletop. Edge banding isn't difficult, but knowing a few things before you start can save you a lot of time and frustration. So this video will offer some tips, some of which I learned through experience, others I picked up from other people. We've already made a couple videos about making your own hardwood edge banding. I'll link to those below if you want to check them out. Today we're going to focus on the adhesive-backed hardwood veneer edge banding. First, let's talk about the banding itself. I buy it online in rolls up to 250 feet long because it's much more economical than buying the little rolls that they sell in the home centers. Now it comes in various widths, including 3/4 of an inch, but don't buy 3/4 of an inch edge banding if you plan on applying it to a 3/4 inch thick piece of plywood. You need room for air when you apply it in case you don't get it on straight. So buy the 7/8 or 3/16 inch wide stuff, and then we'll trim it to width after it's applied, as you're going to see here shortly. It comes pre-glued, meaning there's a layer of dry adhesive on the back that softens with heat and becomes very sticky. It's not going to be as durable as 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch thick hardwood edge banding that you cut yourself and glue on, but if you apply the veneer stuff properly, it should be as durable as the veneer on the plywood itself. So it's perfectly suited to many different types of projects, especially cabinetry and shelving. The simplest way to apply it is with an iron. Now you can use a regular steam iron, such as you might use for clothing. But if you get some of the adhesive on the iron and then somebody uses it on some clothing, you're going to be in trouble. I prefer a small iron that's made for that purpose. Not only is it mine, and I don't have to borrow it, but the smaller head isn't as unwieldy to me as a big iron. I can see my work better and keep an eye on things like creeping. What's creeping? Well, as the glue heats up, it gets soft and becomes pliable. So the pressure of the iron pressing down can pull the strip forward, making it kind of slide on the edge. The obvious solution to this problem is to cut your banding a little extra long so it hangs off the beginning of the edge when you start, and then if it creeps forward as you push with the iron, it's not going to pull away from that edge and leave a bare spot. You can trim it perfectly flush when you're done. With pressure, the bond should activate. Use a block of wood, or better yet, one of those rubber laminate rollers to apply that pressure very evenly, making sure you get all the way to the edges. If it doesn't stick down fully, just add some more heat, followed by some more pressure. If you find that the strip did creep too much on you, add some more heat, adjust it. You can even peel it off and start over in many cases. Once a strip is glued down, it must be trimmed on the edges and the ends. A proper trimming tool makes this a lot easier. A couple years ago, I found these cutters from Fast Cap. Unlike other side cutters, these have jaws that are perfectly flush with the side. I got them for trimming fine pin nails flush with the surface, but I found they really work well on edge banding too. I'll link to them below. Another favorite tool is this edge trimmer that's made for the purpose. I like it because it ensures that the edge is square as well as flush. I'll link to all these tools that I'm using below this video in case you want to check them out. Trimming the edges are a little more tricky than the ends. They make trimmers that cut the excess from both edges at the same time, and that looks convenient, but I don't like them because the grain often runs at an angle. That means if you're cutting in one direction on one side, you might be cutting with the grain, but if you're cutting in that same direction on the other side of the board, you could be cutting against the grain. And if you cut against the grain, you can easily chip part of the banding off. It's better to cut one side at a time so you can reverse the cutting direction and follow the grain in the direction it goes on either side. That's why I prefer a cutter like this one with a fence to keep it plumb and knives that allow it to cut one side at a time in either direction. After you trim the edge, you must smooth it because sharp edges will catch on hands or clothing and it's going to splinter off. For years, I've done this with a sanding block, and that works really well. But some time ago, I saw a video, I think it was from Essential Craftsman, where he recommended a file, such as might be used for laminates. I've since found that this isn't an uncommon idea among professionals. It shaves the wood quickly and smoothly, and I like it very much. You can use a regular mill file, but a laminate file seems to have deeper grooves in it so it won't clog with wood fibers as quickly. I'll link to the one I use below. I hope these tips make your next edge banding project easier. Maybe in the future we'll talk about using a portable benchtop machine. If you have a whole kitchen to do or a lot of shelving, that can be a really fast way that might just pay for itself. See you next time. Featherboards improve the quality and safety of table saw and router table cuts, if you use them. Hedgehog featherboards are designed to be easier to use. With a single knob and one-handed operation for quick adjustments, there are no more excuses. Check them out at the link below this video. Wait, don't go yet. If you're new here, please subscribe and remember to ring the bell. I would really appreciate that. Give us a thumbs up, or better yet, leave us a comment. I always read them. And be sure to check out the latest issue of Stumpy Nubs Woodworking Journal. It's always packed with tips, tricks, and tutorials designed to make you a better woodworker.